Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back live at Superior Heights Soccer Field here in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, where we bring you the final match of the men's OCAA soccer season between the visiting Humber Hawks and the hosting Sault College Cougars. You are watching OCAA soccer on Sault Sports TV and listening on Sault Sports Radio. Today's live stream is brought to you by SaultSports.com. We are moments away from kickoff between the Humber Hawks and Sault College Cougars. Thank you for tuning in with us. We are on for the final 90 minutes of this season's soccer action in the OCAA. And we are just moments away from today's kickoff. The Humber Hawks are aiming to end up with a victory today at the top of the table. The Sault College Cougars do not have the opportunity to claim a playoff spot. Playoffs for the Sault College Cougars will be starting, or beg my pardon, for the OCAA will be starting this week. So this is the final match of the regular season for OCAA men's soccer. My name is Daniel Scarpino. Today we are joined by co-host Neil Ovey. Neil, how are you?
I'm good, Dan. Thanks a lot, mate.
And just seconds away from kickoff, they are sorting out an issue here in the Humber Hawks goal. The assistant referee and the goalkeeper for the Humber Hawks are adjusting the mesh. And this would be a good of a time as any to wish all of our listeners today on Sault Sports TV and Sault Sports Radio a happy Thanksgiving weekend. We hope that everybody is well, staying safe, and that everybody is healthy. The Sault College Cougars are in their white kit today. The Humber Hawks are in their navy blue kit today.
I was just watching a warm-up stand before the game and noticing intense warm-ups that a Sault College keeper was having. I hope that's not a sign of things to come.
We can only hope not. But time will tell as we are set here, awaiting the referee's whistle. And we are off. It's a mammoth of a program in the Humber Hawks. Familiarized with winning so many provincial championships, so many national championships against an up-and-coming, not to yet be established Sault College program. So a real match of David and Goliath here today between these two polar opposites in soccer programs. Sault College defending, as you could tell already, so deep. The fullbacks for the Humber Hawks, high and wide. Again, two totally different programs, two completely different styles of play. As Mitchell Myers for the Sault College Cougars dispossesses and tries to get out on the break, it's Thomas Webb, who has now been dispossessed by the back line of the Humber Hawks. A pass that's been wonderfully cut out by Brett Davey. Only falls now to the Humber Hawks. It's combination play in their own area, and it's been collected by the Sault College goalkeeper, Harmon Chackle. Number 8, Leal. Plays a pass through. And the Humber Hawks are in on goal. And this match only 2 minutes old. And the Humber Hawks have found themselves up 1-0. It was Leal with a fantastic through ball to Memi. And Memi is able to calmly place the ball in the back of the goal. And it's a flying start for the Humber Hawks. Neil, not much of a worse start for the Sault College Cougars.
No, poor start. Pass cut him right open. Finished well, but you're 1 minute 30 in. Yeah, not a great start.
Not in the master plan of the Sault College Cougars to be down 1-0 so early on in the match, but that is the situation they do find themselves in. And this could be more trouble here from the Sault College Cougars as the goalkeeper plays it out from the back. It's number 11, Baquero Morales, who played the ball out of play, and it's the Humber Hawks who are right back again on the attack. The ball found itself out of play. As the Sault College Cougars get the ball back in play from a throw-in. Miscontrolled. And there'll be a free kick for the Sault College Cougars as number 10, Lencharos Melananes, has won himself a free kick. Brett David will stand on it. And that is a sublime ball across, but a foul in the build-up to that was Rashawn Basco. Neil, from a Sault College perspective, what do you think that they will bring today, or at least what do you think that they'll be looking for?
Well, I think we can quite see it. They're going to play defensive, and I think look to, what was it, 4-0?
Yes.
On the first game. So maybe look to improve on that a bit, but not a great start. And that's short again there, Dan. Oh.
That could have been a bit of a disaster, really, as it was a lovely ball over the top from Memi, who tried to pick out Babawale. It was collected by the Sault College goalkeeper on a bit of a dodgy back pass, really, but it worked out in the end as the Humber Hawks once again have possession. The fullbacks high and wide, the center back split, and you could see already in the attacking third, I suppose the middle third right now, how many players have committed forward for the Humber Hawks. That's a lovely ball down the line. It's Babawale who squared it into the area. The ball is still free. It is still loose. It's the Humber Hawks. It's Leal. Leal, blocked by Brett Davey. The danger has not been yet cleared, and it is a goal kick.
Sort of like 4 minutes 30 in. I think it's going to be a long one, Dan.
It does appear to be that way, as we mentioned at the beginning of the game. These are two polar opposite programs in terms of where they are at. The Humber Hawks so familiar with winning provincial and national championships at the college level, and the Sault College Cougars very much in their infancy stage of being a competitive program. A quick mention of the Humber Hawks men's coach, Michael Aquino, in his 12th year as the men's head coach. And on the opposite side of that, co-head coaches Drew Johnson and Brandon Sims for Sault College in their second season. Their first full season, in fact, of actually having games in this rather condensed schedule for the OCAA post-COVID.
I find the coach an interesting concept.
Definitely an interesting concept, something that the Sault College Cougars athletic department believed in, with two young coaches sharing the duties. And they've certainly gotten somewhat of a response this season from their team. They've produced perhaps not the results they were looking for, but the margin of defeat hasn't been particularly huge in some of the games that they've had, as Brett Davey there dispossesses and plays out to Webb. Now Myers, who is looking to keep the ball in play, does just that, and now he's won his team a throw-in. And it's Memi who has now squared the ball to Leal. Leal finds Uccello. Uccello over the top, and the flag is up. A great bit of creativity from the Humber Hawks to find themselves playing across the channels and then a ball over the top, only to be just marginally offside. And as the Humber Hawks immediately back on the attack, ball slipped through only as far once again as Brett Davies. Ball's been kept in by Rashawn Basco. And it's been turned the other way now. The ball has been kept in play. A darting run forward. A pass towards the top of the box. That is number 16, Escobar. Escobar squared a pass only to be eventually dispossessed. And the ball now once again in Humber's possession as they advance forward. It's Escobar once again playing the ball into the half space. That's Uccello. Uccello tries to play through. It's cut out. Babawale playing the ball into the area, into a wall of white Sault College jerseys. It's Leal once again. So much time on the ball. Plays a diagonal pass. And it's cut out once again by the Sault College Cougars. Defending really on top of their own 18-yard box. Could be a theme going in here today as Mitchell Myers is dispossessed. And it's Uccello coming forward once again. Another pass cut out on the top of the 18-yard box. Neil, I think we're starting to see a theme here today so far of how deep Sault College is going to have to defend and the kind of work they're going to have to do defensively.
Yeah, absolutely. They're very deep. There's been a couple of occasions where they maybe could have sprung a counter-attack. The ball's not sticking up front, so it's just coming straight back.
That time that ball is lofted high, only to be met by Gasparotto. And back to the Humber Hawks goalkeeper as they continue to play out from the back so elegantly, so easily, so effortlessly, but with no real pressure to deal with. Ball now played into the striker between the lines. That's number 26, McGrother. And Sault College once again dispossesses Mitchell Myers, center midfielder for Sault College. Lovely bit of skill there from Sault College's Lenchotos Molinares. And that's a lovely pass, and Webb is in an offside position. Looked quite tight, but really, we all were convinced that Webb was onside. As we take a look through, Neil, of these squads that are represented, one by the Humber Hawks and two by Sault College, this Humber Hawks side, Neil, has 27 players in their setup. Sault College Cougars 18. How important is it to have competition for places and have a large squad like this Humber Hawks side does?
Well, it's very important, Dan. It's from my perspective as a coach. If I can sit there a few days before a game and I have no pressure on picking my starting 11, and I know my starting 11 is, as a coach, I want to be sat there thinking, who do I play in this position? And, know that I got 3 or 4 players that have all trained well, have all performed well. That's making my job harder. If you can sit there and just put your 11 straight down without much thought about it because it picks itself, you need to get some depth.
And from a Sault College point of view, as we mentioned, a very new and upcoming competitive program in the OCAA ranks. They have 18 players in their squad, a bit of a depleted bench at the moment due to injuries. All first and second year players with the exception of one player in the Sault College setup. Neil, how difficult is it going to be moving forward? I wouldn't say so much this season because this one is the last game of the season, but moving forward in years to come with this young squad, will they learn, will they grow together being a young squad, will they develop?
Absolutely, they're going to develop. Just by playing these games at this level, you're going to develop. I think from a recruitment perspective now, you're looking to bring in a couple leaders. To bring some leaders in, got a little bit more experience under the belt with a better standard of youth football that they've been playing in Ontario or other parts of the country, and then look to build on that.
And speaking of building, some lovely build-up play from the Humber Hawks. Found a diagonal ball in behind, only to be cut out temporarily by the Sault College Cougars. Danger still not cleared, by the way. And it's fallen now to Escobar. Escobar squares it to Uccello. Uccello plays a lovely ball through, and it's still in possession of the Humber Hawks, and that's 2-0. A great bit of persistence from McGrother to go to ground, stick in a tackle, and slot the ball into the bottom corner. This game is now 2-0 after 12 minutes. Neil, what did we see in that phase of play?
Well, in that phase, what I noticed there was a great turn in the box before he scored the goal, just in the 18. Great turn. Then his desire to win that ball back. You know, the touch took it a little bit away from him. Defender was favourite, but he put the tackle in, desire to win it, and finished well done.
You know, from that word you just said there, Neil, so key in not just soccer, but in all sports, that word desire. Is that something, Neil, in your opinion, that can be coached, that can be taught, or is that something that's innate, that's in your DNA inside you?
It's in there. It's in there. You can't coach it. You can't put it into someone. It's, you know, it's in them to live that student athlete life, to train, to work hard, to want to improve. Yeah, it's something as a coach you got to look for. If it was something we could coach or something we could harness, then you know that's the $1,000,000 question, right?
Of course. And just as we were talking about desire, the desire of the Humber Hawks to get forward was number 9, Abdul Babawale, who had his shot saved by goalkeeper Harmon Chackle of the Sault College Cougars. Ball now back in from this corner kick, and it's still not cleared. In fact, it's quite dangerous. The ball is popping around all over the place. Very dangerous moments here. Very dangerous scenes for the Sault College Cougars as a foul has been awarded. Perhaps a little bit bailed out, shall we say, in that situation. From a Sault College point of view, the referee is checking the ball, and they are going to change the ball at this moment in time. A free kick now for the Sault College Cougars will allow them to get themselves up the pitch as they look to build up from the back, and that is a bit carelessly turned over. And away it goes.
See, and it's things like these unforced errors here. You know, he had a bit of time on the ball, and it's just kicked straight out of play. No one around him, unforced error. Now, you know, now Sault College, you're back on the back foot again. You're defending in your defensive zone. There's no real outlet for them right now.
They're lacking a little bit of width and a little bit of depth are the Sault College Cougars, and we see now really on the back foot are the Cougars as a ball is being played into the area, and fourth-year player Brett Davey is able to clear his lines. Neil, we spoke a little bit earlier about how this Sault College team was so young, filled with first and second-year players, and only one fourth-year player, and that player is Brett Davey. As a fourth-year player amongst so many different young players, how important is it for him to be a leader in this team?
Very important. And I think Brett does have those qualities. You know, we know Brett, and Brett's a good player. Brett's a really good player. You know, for me, I think he should be up top leading the line.
Yeah, it's certainly an argument to be had. He's leading the back line as a center back, as the captain. Certainly a fantastic player, a veteran presence in this Sault College team as he once again clears the line for Sault College, but only temporarily. And that's a fantastic strike. And it was difficult for the goalkeeper to handle, but he does handle it in the end. And he makes yet another save. I think he's going to be busy today, and he's given it away. A disastrous moment for the Sault College Cougars. Harmon Chackle, as we were once singing his praises for a tremendous save, has then turned the ball over carelessly. Those are moments you don't see often, Neil. An absolute disaster.
Well, you know, when he fluffed his kick, literally kicked it to Humber striker on the edge 18-yard. I looked straight across at the bench with Sault College, and especially Coach Drew there, and just saw the hands in his head, right? Hands to his head. It's, as a coach, yeah, that's just.
Correction on the goalkeeper, by the way, for those who are tuning into SaultSports.com and Sault Sports TV and Sault Sports Radio. The kit number was exchanged. We were looking at number 1, Harmon Chackle, but it is in fact Jesse McLaughlin who is in goal for the Sault College Cougars. For those listening and those who are following on OCAA.ca. So it will be Dalen Wilson Leroux. There was a change pre-match to the team sheet that we were not informed on because of the goalkeeper listed as number 1 is actually number 16, in fact. So the goalkeeper, Dalen Wilson Leroux. So our apologies. I can't be for certain that he is. This is a player from Pickering, Ontario. Went to Bishop Alexander Carter Catholic Secondary School. A first-year player. Not entirely sure if he is, in fact, a goalkeeper. Neil, something that we're certainly looking at.
In the warm-up or something, Dan?
There very well could have been, because our match program has changed and the team sheet has changed. But again, we were just informed right now. So again, for those who are listening, thank you for being patient with us. It is Dalen Wilson Leroux who has replaced what would have been Harmon Chackle in goal. And it is 3-0 for the Humber Hawks. We are in the 18th minute as Sault College looks to play out from the back, and the only back that we see there is Thomas Webb getting hit in the back with the ball, as the ball is now being played across the channel, dispossessed by the Sault College Cougars. Looking to keep it in play is number 7, Rashawn Basco, who fails to do so. And that's a lovely ball over the top as the Humber Hawks continue to surge forward with numbers. And it is going to be a corner kick for the Humber Hawks. It was number 10, Uccello, who had a strike, was blocked by Sault College defender. Yet another corner kick for the Humber Hawks. And that was nearly 4 goals. A ball played across the face of goal from the corner kick. And it was number 24, Gasparato, who just missed. Neil, every corner kick so far for the Humber Hawks has been played short. Tactical decision, or is that something obviously that they've been working on the training ground?
Yep, I think so, Dan. Something on the training ground they've been working on. That's where they're comfortable. You know, looking at the size of the Humber Hawks, you know, compared to.
Oh my days! Oh my days! A wonder goal, an absolute screamer from the Humber Hawks, and that was number 8, Federico Lille. Unbelievable strike from 35 yards out into the top corner. We talked a little bit earlier in the women's game, Neil, about the OCAA Athlete of the Week going to one of the Humber Hawks players. Certainly that's got to be the goal of the week.
That's goal of the week. You know, even if the keeper called it, I think he was going in with it. That was struck with such venom.
That certainly got the few fans that we are allowed to have here out of their seats. And an absolute wonder strike puts this game 4-0 in favor of the Humber Hawks as Webb crosses the ball into the box of Sault College now with a half chance. It's Mitchell Myers, still Myers. Can Sault College produce something? Unfortunately, it can only be produced as a goal kick. Again, we go back to that goal. I think it's certainly worth noting. We were talking in the build-up there as the ball came out to Lille. He's had one touch and he's just hit it with absolute venom, absolute power, and it's gone into the top corner. Those are strikes maybe you see once or twice a season, Neil. They don't come around too often, do they?
No, that was just, everything was perfect. And he probably only does that 3 or 4 times in his career, to hit a ball that sweet.
Those are ones you certainly remember. And that time the shot has been blocked by the Sault College defender. Shouts for handball. The referee has waved for play to continue. A battle for the ball has been played back to the Humber Hawks goalkeeper from Escobar. Humber in this game looking so far so comfortable, aren't they, Neil?
Yeah, very comfortable. So from a coaching perspective, Dan, put your coaching hat on here. You're 20 minutes, you're 4-0 down. What do you change?
Well, I think now you're probably looking at a game that perhaps is a little bit out of reach, even though that the game is only 20 minutes old. Perhaps you look at playing players in different positions. Maybe you look at a player like Brett Davey, as you were mentioned, putting him up top. Maybe you try and come out of that low block that you were pressing a little bit higher and trying to be a little bit more urgent. We saw just then and there that the Sault College Cougars were in and around the Humber Hawks penalty area, so maybe just allowing the players to have a little bit more freedom, a little bit more urgency. What's your opinion on that one, Neil?
Pretty much the same. Yeah, I think it'd be time to change formation, change the personnel, move some players around, and want to be a little bit more aggressive.
Certainly.
A little bit more positive, a little bit more aggressive. In terms of how they're getting the ball forward, a little bit more urgency, and take care of the ball a little bit better.
Certainly agree with that. Sault College is having a difficult time stringing more than 1 or 2 passes together. But the Humber Hawks certainly not having that problem as they continue to break lines, as they continue to skip past defenders, as they continue to play the ball in behind. Everything seeming, as we just mentioned, to be very comfortable in possession. Ball being played back now to Escobar. And now it's Leal. And that's a lovely ball in behind, but the flag has gone up. This, as we mentioned, is the final game, not only of these two teams' regular season, but the final game for the men's division at the OCAA level. Playoffs will commence this week after Thanksgiving. The Humber Hawks looking to top this particular group. The Sault College Cougars will not be in the playoffs this year. It's Webb on the ball now. And the Sault College player now, Lancheros Molinares, who is having a swift talking to from the referee. All smiles on the end of it. And the
Ref being a little bit picky there.
perhaps maybe just he doesn't want things to get beyond his grasp as he blew the whistle prematurely. That's another lovely diagonal ball over the top. Referee's wave play to continue. There's some shouts for handball. It's number 10 who has fizzed one in towards the goalkeeper. Very difficult for him to handle.
Yeah, looking at the boy's technique, I don't think he's a goalie.
No, I think that obviously, again, folks, as we were talking about earlier, our match day program was not updated prior to kickoff, so there was certainly a change made. And yeah, Neil, I certainly agree with you that I think that this young man has been put in between in the sticks, and he's had his work cut out for him so far, and there's still over an hour of this game left to go. So whether he is a goalkeeper or not, he's going to have his hands full, certainly. So no let up here from the Hawks. As referee waves play to continue, advantage being granted to the Humber Hawks. As it's Leal still on the ball, and that's lovely interplay there, and a precise tackle from number 24 of the Sault College Cougars, Giovanni Campanelli. And speaking of the Sault College Cougars, we do have a player down at the minute, Daniel Baquero Malares, as he's going to need some attention here. I think it's just a bit of a 50-50 where maybe his leg just got jarred, and hopefully he will be okay.
A little bit of point of interest here with the men's roster compared to the female Sault College roster, where that's predominantly Sault Ste. Marie based players. Here we have a mix.
Most certainly there are players that come from across the province and as well out of country. So certainly a diverse squad from a Sault College men's point of view. Again, we spoke about their squad having 18 players, but not all available for this match today due to injury. And as we spoke about, the co-head coaches for the Sault College Cougars are Drew Johnson and Brandon Sims. This is their second season as the men's coaches. However, last season, as we know, the college and university seasons were canceled due to COVID-19. So this is actually their first season in charge of games. And obviously a difficult start for them, Neil, having a condensed season, only playing 6 games, going up against very difficult opposition with a relatively depleted squad. As young coaches, what can you say that possibly they might be feeling?
Yeah, it's important that you don't blame yourselves, right? You analyse yourself at the end of the season, which I'm sure Drew and Brandon will. They'll take stock of things they can do better, or whether that be from a recruitment perspective, or just things that the program needs to be better. But it's just regrouping, Dan. And like I say, they're young guys. They've got to learn the process, get out there, get to the showcases, make contact with clubs, get out to players, and just get the brand of Sault College soccer out there.
Most certainly, and it's without doubt that this program will come good under the guidance of Drew Johnson and Brandon Sims. I myself, having had plenty of experience coaching with them for around 10 years, certainly good guys that are in it for the right reasons, and we certainly wish them nothing but the best.
You know, they've both played university at the OUA level, so they know what it's about, right? They know what it's about. They know what standards they got to bring to the program. It's now about a recruiting process, which does take time.
Certainly. And time indeed is what they will need as we approach here the 28th minute in this match. The score is 4-0 in favor of the Humber Hawks. We are live here in Sault Ste. Marie at Superior Heights Turf for this final game of the men's soccer season. In the OCAA playoffs, once again, as we mentioned earlier, are starting this upcoming week after Thanksgiving. And speaking of Thanksgiving, once again, we want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving who are listening here on Sioux Sports Radio and SiouxSports.com. It's Cortez. Cortez playing through to the striker, McGrother, who has had himself a fantastic game. He plays a fantastic pass, and it's not so much of a fantastic finish, really, as Babawale hits it into what would have been, I suppose, Rosette, had there been stands in behind the goal.
He was looking for the glory finish.
I'm thinking so.
He was plenty of time. He could have just brought it down, picked his spot.
And getting himself out of a difficult situation there was Rashawn Basco. Certainly a player who has been working hard this game out on the left wing for the Sault College Cougars. It's Basco on the ball once again. Has gotten himself out again. I'll tell you what, this could be promising for the Sault College Cougars if they can get numbers forward, and the referee has a word handball, and it'll be the Humber Hawks to transition the other way. There are a few Sault College Cougars that are caught out of play as the line has been broken, and the Humber Hawks continue to commit numbers forward. That was Leal who plays out to Migoto. Migoto squared the ball, was to nobody. It's number 16. That's a critical block there from Brett Davey. And it's McGorther who will be credited with a foul there for a slight push in the back. Number 26, Neil, for the Humber Hawks, the striker, McGorther. Such a big, strong guy. Is that something where you think maybe a referee looks at and gives maybe a little bit of an advantage to the defending team?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, probably. You know, he looks at him and thinks, well, he's a big unit. He can look after himself a bit, and so yeah, you know, that might sway his decision.
And the high press from the Humber Hawks is so evident. And speaking of evident, there's a yellow card coming out here for number 10 of Sault College, and we spoke a little bit earlier about Lancheros Melinares, who was having a discussion with the referee, and it ended in all smiles. However, the referee putting a stop to it here 30 minutes into the match. Changes for the Sault College Cougar. In fact, only one change is imminent. It's number 17, Essex Dos Santos, who is departing, and we have number 11, Vaquero Malares, who is coming back into the match. We saw that he got injured a little bit earlier, Neil. Always fantastic to see a player who is down on the pitch injured to be able to come back into the game.
Come back in, Dan, absolutely. And again, notice there Brett Davey taking the spot kicks for the keeper, the place kicks. So again, that would suggest to me the boy's not a keeper.
It's an observation that is 100% true and made by a coach that's been around for quite some time, so well done for that. And that was a really well-placed cross there by the Humber Hawks, and it was Babawale again on the end of it. And that Babawale, number 9 for the Humber Hawks, has found himself on the end of things today. However, he hasn't been able to find his finishing touch quite yet. Obviously still plenty of game to go, but he'll want to figure that out in terms of what he's doing in his game. He'll want to finish his chances. And obviously now with the new 2020 rules that are in play from goal kicks, the ball doesn't have to leave the penalty area. But what the referee was alluding to there, for those watching, obviously you were able to see, but for those listening on Sioux Sports Radio, one of the Humber Hawks players found themselves in the attacking 18-yard box, in the Sault College 18-yard box, and on a goal kick that cannot happen. Even though the Sault College Cougars can play out from a goal kick in their own 18-yard box, the defending team, which in this case was the Humber Hawks, cannot make a challenge against the Sault College Cougars. So again, 2020 rule changes for goal kicks, and the referee was just explaining that there. And there will be another talking to here as a hard foul was committed by number 7, Rashawn Basco. It doesn't look like he's going into the book. The referee has just signaled there that he doesn't want to see any more tackles like that. And you'd imagine, Neil, probably if he does make another tackle like that, that he will have to go into the book.
I think that's it. But you know what? From a Sault College perspective, as a coach, yeah, it was a mistimed tackle. But you know, you need to see that sometimes. Just that desire to get in there and make that tackle, which has been lacking a little bit in the first 30 minutes. But yeah, he's just got to be careful. He's probably walking a little bit of a tightrope now.
And it was Babawale, once again, who skied the free kick, only for the ball boy to retrieve. And the high press from Humber is just relentless. And when we talk about high pressing, Neil, a lot of coaches will give certain areas of the pitch where perhaps they want to trap or their highest player, how high they want to press.
Mm-hmm.
This press looks like it's byline to byline, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
The aggression and tenacity from this Humber Hawks team is quite remarkable at this moment in time as they continue to play their way through the thirds. Brett Davey cutting out yet another pass. A shining light for the Sault College team is Brett Davey. This is number 10, Uccello. Uccello plays Leo. Leo tries to get the ball in behind. Sault College attempting to play their way out of pressure. And unable to do it are the Sault College Cougars, that is, as the ball rolls out for a goal kick. Neil, in those types of situations, as a coach, when you know you're going to be going up against a high press, do you think that there are moments, of course, where a team can just play a little bit more direct to try and bypass some of the pressure that they're facing?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Dan. You know, if you're getting in a high press like that, which are doing very well and they're successful at it, and you know, as much as it, even if it's not in your philosophy and you like to play football, you just got to get out of there sometimes and go long and get it out and get it into their third and try and establish a foothold in that part of the field. If they're pressing high, your players have got to be so comfortable and accomplished on the ball.
And the Sault College coach, Brandon Sims, receives a yellow card, just as we are talking about philosophy, and very evident that the Sault College coaches know that this season is gone. They cannot qualify for the playoffs, that they've had some decent results this season in terms of margin of defeat, but they certainly want to establish a philosophy, and perhaps a little bit of frustration, obviously, from all the way over here in the stand. We can't hear what was said, but something was said, and the Sault College coach was booked.
And again, you know, Brandon's a young coach. That's a learning curve. You know, it's important that your coaches keep their cool. You know, the last thing your team want to see you doing is a coach getting booked and maybe later getting sent off. Or so he's just got to like keep his cool a bit and put his focus in the right areas.
And the referee allowing a lot of contact to go on, as it's number 11 now, Memi, who puts it into the top bin, and Sault College really pleading their case with the referee that there was a foul in the build-up in the run of play, but Memi will have absolutely no reservation, no qualm, no opinion towards that as he curls one into the top corner and he makes this game 5-0 with less than 10 minutes to go here in this first half at Superior Heights. It's Sault College 0, Humber 5. And Neil, we've seen this in the past. Obviously, we've been a part of it as coaches, and we've seen it on so many different occasions where a game could go from bad to worse and worse to ugly. Is this going to be a situation and a game where they're going to have to do a little bit of damage control, Sault College?
I think so, Dan. Now we're what we at 5-0, potentially 6 now. Anyway, but 5-0, yeah, it is very much damage control, and it depends. Like I say, it depends on the coaches and what the coaches think and what they want out of it. You know, at the end of the day, they might get in there at halftime and say, okay, let's change formation again, like we talked about with the ladies' game. Looking at next year, maybe looking at players in different positions, different ideas, and just admitting that this game is done and dusted. It's the final 45 minutes of your season. Don't pay too much attention to the result. You're not going to playoffs. You're not pushing your way up the table. It's done. It's over. So use the next 45 minutes maybe to some positive advantage for yourself.
Certainly so many key points there to take into account. Very well said as the Sault College Cougars take yet another goal kick. It's Brett Davey who takes the goal kick, and it falls to a Humber Hawks player. And lovely combination play now as the overlapping run from Migoto, the left footer, has made his way through. He believes it's a corner kick, but the referee has signaled for a goal kick. The look of disbelief from Migoto suggests that he really believed that it was a corner kick, but regardless, it's yet another goal kick, and it's yet another goal kick that's been won by the Humber Hawks. It's Cortez in possession now. Cortez finding Uccello. Uccello back to Cortez. The College Cougars at this moment in time defending in a line of 7. And the Humber Hawks, of course, committing plenty of players forward, looking to want to get behind that back 7 of Sault College. And you hear the instruction now from the sideline for the Humber Hawks to stretch, to try and pull the Sault College Cougars out from that low block that they want to be in. And in that attempt, there was a foul committed against Rashawn Basco. It will be a free kick to Sault College as we approach just 5 minutes remaining in this half here. 5-0 Humber against the Sault College Cougars as the Cougars play short.
So just looking from here, Dan, there's no real focal point up front. Not you know, the lad's not really showing. He just wants it. If you can tell by his body, he just wants it in behind. He's playing on the shoulder of the last defender there. He just wants it in behind. Maybe to use his pace and hit those, exploit those spaces in behind.
Perhaps, and maybe we haven't been able to see number 14 of Sault College, Lucas Schlums. We haven't been able to see his pace yet, as there hasn't been any balls over the top for him to run onto. But maybe that's a strength in his game. But something might have to change if they can't get him the ball in those areas. And plenty of pleas for a handball, and the referee has waited for play to continue. And now, something that won't be continued is play for the Humber Hawks, as there was a foul committed right in front of the assistant referee, a quick agitation of the flag, and it's yet another foul committed against the Sault College Cougars. But as quickly as these free kicks are being taken, every single time the Humber Hawks are able to win the ball out of the air, almost uncontested, Neil.
Yeah, like I said, the lad up front's got no interest to go for those aerial battles, and he's looking for it in behind. But sometimes, as you know, Dan, just even to jump with your opponent could, you know, cause a disruption in his technique and lead to something. But he's got no desire to get into those aerial battles.
That's exactly right, and the other problem that comes with that is if you're not going to be able to compete in the air and jump in the air and challenge a defender, there's no chance for a second phase run from midfield, and that will leave you in your own half for a large portion of the game. As the rain now is starting to come down, the sky has opened up, which makes for more slick conditions in this match. So you'd imagine that the passes will continue to be played short, perhaps, particularly from a Humber Hawks point of view. The fullbacks continue to get high and wide, and the center back split. And it's poise and composure from a Humber Hawks perspective as Babawale now sees himself in a bit of a deeper role. Lovely dummy there from Lille. It's Cortez now making his way forward. It's a lovely ball through, but just a bit too heavy, and it goes out for a goal kick. I beg my pardon, that last one was Escobar who played that ball through. The Humber Hawks will be looking to win themselves another provincial championship this year and perhaps a national championship. How, Neil, do you think, in your opinion, does a program keep their standards so high like the Humber Hawks do?
Well, it starts at the top, right? So it starts with a coach, and again, I think this is a 12-year coach.
Yes.
Yeah, so consistency with him and with the staff around him. Good recruitment, bringing those first years in, having those seniors that have already got the culture, know the culture, to sort of like bring the first years on, and it's just that repetitive cycle.
And speaking of bringing first years in, that is exactly what this Humber Hawk team has done. They have 13 first-year players, but a really good mix and balance of veterans and senior players in their team. Good blend of second, third, fourth, and fifth-year players as well. But 13 first-year players have come in to build the program, some of which are starting in this match today. So well done to the Humber Hawks, of course, who will be gunning for yet another provincial championship this year and potentially another Canadian championship. A force to be reckoned with at the college level in the OCAA here in the province of Ontario. As Carmen Singh collects, and the Hawks continue to build out of the back, as you just alluded to, Neil, with nothing but time and space in front of them. A rare mishandled pass from the Hawks, but as quickly as they lose it is as quickly as they get it back. Certainly the Hawks counter-pressing, Neil, is something that is quite impressive regardless of opposition.
Yes, absolutely. It is impressive. They're totally in control, as the scoreline says. Then I think for them now it's just going through their set patterns of play, their passing patterns, their set pieces. You know, not to be disrespectful to anyone, but I think the second half will be more like a training session for them, where they look to execute certain things and work on things.
Certainly bigger games and bigger days ahead, as we mentioned on a few occasions now, that the playoffs for the OCAA will be starting after Thanksgiving, so this week. So tougher tests will be ahead for the Sault College, or beg my pardon, for the Humber Hawks. They will need to make sure that they fine-tune things in the second half and get ready for their next venture, which will likely be a home match, as they will finish either first or second in their group, as there is a handball against the Sault College Cougars. And speaking of set pieces, we are now into stoppage time, and there is a set piece from about 33 yards away.
I think he's on it. What do you think? Do you think he's going to hit this?
I think so, and if the goalkeeper stays there, I think there's an opportunity to hit it high into the goal, as the referee is just sorting out the wall now. Goalkeeper stood middle of his goal, closer to the top of his 6-yard box, and this is going to be Lille who will hit this. It's Lille, and it's just wide. Apologies for those listening to the live stream if you heard any inappropriate language from the field just then and there. A little bit of frustration from the players. The ball being played through the thirds, but that will end this half here as we hear the referee's whistle. That is 45 minutes gone, 45 minutes to go. The score is 5-0 in favor of the Humber Hawks. We'll be back in 10 minutes for the second half of what will be the final match of the OCAA men's soccer season. Thank you very much. You're listening to Sault Sports TV, Sault Sports Radio, and this is being live streamed on SaultSports.com. Thank you very much, and see you in 10 minutes. And we are just about set here to kick off the second half here at Superior Heights in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. The Humber Hawks 5, the Sault College Cougars 0. As the second half is underway, it is the Sault College Cougars now in possession. Brett Davey, the fourth-year captain. And the Humber Hawks now calmly in possession. That is a beautiful switch in play. Number 2, Tristan Gale on the ball now. Plays it out wide to Di Bartolo. Di Bartolo back to Gale. Gale swinging it into the area. Met by a sea of white jerseys. And it's Gale once again in possession. Coming inside is Gale, slipping it in behind. A lovely back heel. And had that come off, that would have been a beautiful bit of play from the Humber Hawks. Humber Hawks so comfortable to play in wide areas. This is Memi now. This is Babawale. Babawale cuts it back. And shall we say in that situation, Neil, overplaying?
Yes, exactly, Dan. Overplaying. A couple of times they could have got a shot off there. But like I said first half, they're probably going through a set of, patterns and just trying things differently and working on a few things. And I don't know, maybe even be respectful about the scoreline.
Perhaps. So much time on the ball the Humber Hawks have as we see Brett Davey cut out yet another promising attack from the Hawks. He's certainly been a staple in the back line for the Humber Hawks today. Or beg my pardon, for the Sault College Cougars. As the Humber Hawks have possession of the ball, and once again getting the ball wide. This is Memi. Memi cutting inside. Still Memi. Memi now dinking the ball over the top. The flag has stayed down, at least for now. And had that gone, that would have counted. That was number 22, Di Bartolo, the substitute, who came on at halftime. And speaking of substitutions, Neil, obviously the Humber Hawks have a lot to look forward to. They will finish either top of this group, depending on how many goals are scored today and how their goal difference pans out, or they will finish second in their group. Regardless, they will have a playoff match this week. How important is it, would you say, Neil, for the Humber Hawks coach to get some other guys additional minutes and maybe get some of the key players some added rest?
Well, I don't know, Dan. If I was, I'd leave them out there. It's not really what we call a nasty game. There's no really bad challenges going in. Right, there's been no nastiness to the game, no silliness, and I would want my key players to probably now, out of this next 45, get the time in and get them ready for the playoff. Certainly,
getting added minutes in the legs is important, as this is number 9 for the Humber Hawks, Babawale, who finally gets his goal. He was in and around the penalty area, a fox in the box, if you will, all first half, and he was unable to find the back of the net, but certainly on that occasion, absolutely no problem as he scores in the 49th minute. Babawale does. Babawale is a second-year player from Toronto, Ontario. Score is now 6-0 in favor of the Humber Hawks. Mitchell Myers, center midfield player out of Sault Ste. Marie, plays the ball back to his fullback. And the Cougars still in possession of the ball, trying to get their ideas down. And it's a really poor pass from Lancheros Molinares.
Seems to be a theme, though, of the game, Dan, today.
Very much so. A little bit careless, a little bit untidy. From a Sault College perspective, again, something that we look at that the Humber Hawks have been able to execute really well. And when we talk about things like possession, Neil, and obviously there are things that you can teach with patterns of play and different types of movement and exchanging players in different pockets of space. But in terms of actually keeping possession of the ball, it's not something that a coach can really coach, can it?
No, it comes down to technical ability. And we've seen here today that you just got some players out there, unfortunately, that can't complete the 5-yard pass. And again, Dan, I'm not being, we've lived this through our university program that you and I coach on. We've been down this road, right?
Definitely.
So we know about it, and it's not being disrespectful to anyone. It's just the fact of the matter is that the basics they're finding hard to do.
And a goal that was just come out of pure will from number 22, Di Bartolo, who out-muscled the Sault College defender and squared the ball across the face of goal for an easy tap-in. And that would have been number 11, Memi, who gets another goal on the day. And this score is now 7-0. And if the game wasn't already done and dusted, we're certainly on a path for it to become out of control, if you will, beyond reach of it being respectful any longer at a 7-0 scoreline in the 50th minute.
You can just, I don't know if you can feel it, you can just see it out there, the energy is gone from the Cougars. Their shoulders are down, it's going to be tough 39 minutes for them.
Here's another ball that's in behind. The flag has stayed down, at least for now. This is Babawale. Babawale squares it, scores. It's all too easy, it's all too comfortable, and it's all too predictable. And the goals continue to mount against the Sault College Cougars. The score is now 8-0. As quickly as we get done talking about one goal, there's another that the Sault College Cougars are pulling out of the back of their net. Certainly a frustrating afternoon and not a way that the Sault College Cougars would have wanted to end their season. But the reality of the situation is that it is an 8-0 game with still plenty of time left to play here in the second half. Sault College Cougars trying to play out of the back, trying to keep their ideas consistent, but only to get dispossessed so quickly. And this through ball this time is called offside by the nearest linesman to us. And as you mentioned, Neil, the atmosphere at the ground today has now began to really drop. As a coach, how do you try and inject some level of positivity and energy into your team in these sorts of situations?
Well, it's tough. They're 8-0 down, 3 goals in the first 7 minutes of the second half. You know what? I would look to change it, change formation. They're still staying in there. Looks like a 4-3-2-1, and they're still doing the low block. I would just try to change it up and say, hey guys, you know what? This half we're going to play for the remainder of this half. Just look to change it. Put players in different positions. Put Brett up front. Try and just inject a different bit of energy by moving some players around and giving them something different to think about.
At this point in the match, of course, nothing to lose as a pass that was. Again, we spoke a little bit earlier about technical ability and how as a coach, particularly at this level anyways, obviously at the youth competitive and youth level, it's a little bit different because you can teach the technical ability, but on that situation there, the ball was played out from Brett Davey to Khalil Martin, and it's just that whole idea of opening up your body, receiving the ball in the half turn with your instep, and it was just something that simply wasn't executed. And again, it's something that I'm sure from a Sault College point of view, head coach Brandon Sims and Drew Johnson will be frustrated with as Sault College try to build it from the back now. And this is Lancheros Molinares on the ball, squares it to Mitchell Myers. Myers now trying to pick something out, and he plays the ball over the top. Unfortunately, can only fall to the feet of the Humber Hawks goalkeeper. Point worth noting, the goalkeepers did substitute at halftime, so the backup goalkeeper for the Humber Hawks is getting himself 45 minutes underneath his belt. Di Bartolo squares it, and it's blocked. And that was nearly 9-0.
I think he could have gone for goal there.
Yeah, it was almost a case of him being too unselfish, and he certainly could have taken his chance there. We are just being informed up here in the commentary booth that 3 more goals in terms of goal difference for the Humber Hawks, and they will clinch their division and finish top of the table. So certainly something that head coach Michael Aquino would have looked at in the build-up to the game and probably would have spoken about with his team at halftime. Neil, for you as a coach, would you be telling your team that we'd be gunning for the top of the division, or to just go play your football
Absolutely.
and whatever happens, happens?
No, absolutely. And I think that's why we've seen the quick start, to go out, get those remaining goals, to put yourself in that top table. It's always good to go into the playoffs, in pole position, right? It gives you, you get a bit of respect from the other opponents that, we're not just playing a team that's finished 3rd or 4th here, we're playing the team that won the league. So yeah, absolutely, I'd be going for that. And it's a good morale booster for the players.
Certainly. And I think that we've seen a little bit, not too much, but a little bit of the tactic change for the Humber Hawks, because everything in the first half for the Humber Hawks was short, intricate, and they were trying to play between the lines. Now we're seeing a lot of balls that are being played over the top, and that they're committing a lot more players forward in a direct fashion into the channels and behind. So definitely I think that the coach, as you said, would have wanted to get top of the division. As well, I think it's also worth noting for those listening at home, in terms of the way that the OCAA playoffs work, if you do finish top of your group, you get a bye in the first round, and you won't have to play an extra game. So again, Neil, I ask you from that point of view, if you do finish top of the group and you're able to get that extra few days rest, that's a few extra days you could spend at
Absolutely.
the training ground.
That's a few days more recovery, watching videotape and going over things and preparing, right? But preparing for that next game.
And certainly plenty of time left in this half for the Humber Hawks to address and confront that situation of getting another 3 goals. Certainly they've shown themselves today very capable, as they have done over the years, of scoring goals. Already 8-0 in this game. And that diagonal run in behind comes from Uccello. Uccello plays through, and the defender Khalil Martin of Sault College is forced to clear for a corner kick. The first-year defender from Dundalk, Ontario.
They're definitely looking to get number 9, Abdul Bulawayo, in behind. That's something that's changed from the first half. They're looking to get him in behind.
And he certainly has had a little bit more enjoyment this half in running forward, as opposed to dropping in the build-up. So Babawale playing now as a true number 9, shall we say. Lovely bit of skill there from Rashawn Basco. He's able to square the ball to Mitchell Myers. Mitchell Myers tries to lift the ball over Bertolo, but can't quite get it. It's a lovely tackle, and the referee thought and saw otherwise.
Bit of a sympathy call there, I think.
I'm thinking so. Such thing as we've heard in the past is scoreboard officiating. And now Brett Davey from 40 yards. Neil, dare I say that he might try his luck from here?
I think he's going to have a go. We know Brett can pack a punch in that when he hits one, so I think he's going to go for this. Ambitious, but we'll see.
And he has had a go.
And it was ambitious.
And a little bit too high, and once again, at this point, nothing to lose, really. That would be their first shot of the game, Neil. Although it wasn't a shot on target, it will be marked down as a shot. And there's that ball that's lifted over the top. That is a beautiful diagonal ball. Well picked out. This is Di Bertolo now. 1v1 here. Squares it. Driving into the box are plenty of Humber Hawk players, and it's cleared by Brett Davey, and it's going to be a corner kick. And you take a look at a pass like that, and obviously the quality of the pass was fantastic, but do you put it down to just maybe him having so much time on the ball?
Absolutely. They're pretty much being able to do what they want out there. Get it down, 3 or 4 touches, then they ping a pass. They've got so much time and space. You can do that all day long, Dan.
And we're seeing now that the Sault College Cougars are bringing in 2 players who have yet to see the field today, and you have to wonder how much they've seen the pitch this season. 2 starting players being removed, and 2 players from the bench coming in for some added game time here with 30 minutes remaining in the match. That's number 5, Janil Modi, and number 15, Aiden Roswell. And there's that ball in behind. You can almost see it coming. Now as Gale squares it across the face of goal.
How many interceptions have Brett Davey done today?
I think he's looking at 20 plus. I really do believe that. He's been an absolute staple, as we've mentioned, in that back four, the leader of the back line, the captain of the team. And if not for his presence back there, I think the division would have already been wrapped up, because there would have been more goals to have been had by the Humber Hawks. And a careless pass might see Babawale score, and that is exactly what he does. Number 13 of the Sault College Cougars, Khalil Martin, as we've seen today, having some very difficult moments in possession, gives a careless ball away. And again, we spoke earlier about how the Humber Hawks have changed their tactics slightly, of being a little bit more direct, playing those balls over the top, and it's Babawale who's found his form this half.
It's a good finish, Dan.
Very much so. Neil, sometimes as a striker, all you need to see is the ball go in the back of the net, don't you?
For confidence?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing more, nothing gives a striker more confidence than scoring goals. That's what they're there for, right? And it's, if you can do it and you're going through a purple patch where everything you're hitting is going in, that's great moving forward for the playoffs.
And Babawale, who was evidently frustrated in the first half as he was unable to find the back of the net and missed so many easy chances, has now, in this second half here, really found his way in front of goal. And his confidence, as you said, would be sky high now.
As we see his little back heel there, that's a sign of a confident player.
That's right. We've mentioned it so many times. Who was there to cut it out? Number 3, Brett Davey for the Sault College Cougars. Number 19, Delgado for the Humber Hawks, came on as a substitute in the second half. The right back for the Humber Hawks has shown himself to have a great bit of skill and a great bit of confidence on the ball. Gale whips one in. That's a lovely touch. Babawale, who's had himself an excellent second half, has to put his face in his hands, knowing that he had more time to take it down and finish the action. But a lovely bit of interplay from the Humber Hawks. It's Khalil Martin who actually gets himself out of a difficult situation then and there. Something he hasn't been able to do too much today. "20 minutes gone now in this second half here at Superior Heights. I want to remind everybody that you are watching OCAA Soccer on Sault Sports TV and listening to potentially on Sault Sports Radio. Today's live stream is brought to you by SaultSports.com on this Thanksgiving weekend. The final game of not only the Humber Hawks and the Sault College Cougars regular season, but the final regular season game of all OCAA men's soccer. Playoffs will start this week after Thanksgiving. The Humber Hawks looking to top the group. They only need 2 more goals to do so between them and the Seneca Sting. As DiBertolo now drives into the box. DiBertolo cuts back, and the referee has waved it off. Even the Sault College players have stopped and said that they believe that it was a penalty. The referee was having none of it. Neil, we spoke a little bit earlier about a sympathy call. Is that one of them?
100%. Blatant penalty. He could have gone down twice, actually. He could have gone down before that. He had a little nip, and he could have easily gone the ground there. So the boy stayed on his feet. Second one, he cut inside, and then, 100% penalty.
A great bit of skill from DiBertolo to skip past his first man and then the second man. And for everybody at the stadium, including the Sault College players, they thought it was a penalty. And
I just don't understand how they can't give it to him.
Yeah, and obviously at this level of competition, we don't have the accessibility of something like VAR, but surely anybody who's looked at that are watching today on the live stream would have recognized that was definitely a penalty. Great bit of composure from Gale. Babawale is dispossessed from Brett Davey, and Brett Davey maybe now going to run forward with the ball perhaps. He squares it to Martin. Martin to Lancheros Malinares, and Sault College still in possession of it, although it's being bobbled around a little bit. This is Babawale. That is a lovely ball through, and you can make it 10. After the ball was bobbled around for quite some time, the Humber Hawks were able to get hold of it. And Memi of the Hawks finishes another, which just adds to his tally, and that makes the score 10-0. And we are watching closely to see if we can gauge if the Humber Hawks will top the group. They do only need 1 more goal for that to occur to finish ahead of the Seneca Sting, who are at this moment in time still first place in the division. Lancheros Malinares, who is already on a yellow card, just went to ground there. He has to be careful. As Babawale squares the ball, and it's easy pickings for Dalen Wilson-Leroux. The Humber Hawks venturing forward again. You take a look at how many players they've committed forward, all but 2. So it just goes to show, as you mentioned earlier, Neil, the commitment levels of this Humber Hawks team to want to get forward. That's a lovely bit of skill, by the way, from Delgado. Escobar, Delgado, Uccello, still Uccello. The goalkeeper has elected to throw it out.
I'm still intrigued with what went on with the goalkeeper situation with the college, with the Cougars, because they got 2 goalkeepers listed on the roster, Chaco McLaughlin, and the young lad in there, Wilson-Leroux. He's down as a midfielder defender.
Interesting indeed, and for those who have been with us throughout the entirety of this game, you will have heard us mention that our match day program was changed last minute, and we were informed a few moments into the match that the goalkeepers had changed. So perhaps this, well, quite clearly, Neil, that this is their 3rd choice goalkeeper.
Yeah, we could see that at the start with his technique and that. I don't know if it's a case of he just volunteered to go in.
Very well could have been. If there isn't a 3rd choice goalkeeper, they would have had to have had somebody volunteer or have been voluntold to go in goal.
So I'm sure they were warming up too at the start of the game.
Yes. And this will be a disappointing end to the Sault College men's soccer season. They will finish the season 0-6. But for the first season in charge for Drew Johnson and Brandon Sims as co-head coaches of the Sault College men's team, there will be a lot to build on. And Neil, does the focus now shift to the off season and recruitment and training and those types of things?
Absolutely, yeah. That's got to be their focus now. The roster's not big. It's 18. They need to improve on that. Need to build on that. I'm sure, as it goes on, that there might be players out here who are going to graduate or move on themselves. There might be players that the coaches want to move on, but they got to make sure they got people coming in to replace it.
And this is Mitchell Myers, who has done a tremendous amount of work only to strike his own player with the shot that he took. The most promising moment of the match was blocked by the Sault College player, who is in absolute agony on the ground.
Yeah, no male soccer player wants a block with that part of the anatomy, Dan, let's be honest.
Let's be honest about it, indeed. And I'm not sure that anybody in this sort of situation can help him. This is going to be, my goodness. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. With the few fans that we do have in the stands today at the stadium, are getting some laughs out of it. No laughs certainly for the player on the floor, which is number 5, Janelle Moody. Moody, beg my pardon. And I'm sure he will be okay despite the fact that he is in obvious discomfort. As of yesterday, we are allowed, at least in Sault Ste. Marie, to have fans as of October the 14th. This season will end, but for OUA soccer and high school sports for that matter, we will see fans back in the stadium as of October 14th. So that will be this week, just in a few days' time. And Sault College at this point, I don't think that they've brought in a substitute. Neil, have they? Maybe that I've missed?
I don't think so, mate.
No, they're going to let this guy ride this one out. And hopefully he can come back into the match. And the Sault College Cougars have elected to give the ball back to the Humber Hawks. We talked about the Sault College Cougars back line being higher. Neil, evidently they are higher this half, aren't they?
They are, yes. You know what? Yeah, they've pushed them a little bit higher, Dan, yeah. He's still down injured over there.
And again, there's nothing from a physio point of view or a practitioner point of view that can help the young lad. He's going to have to sort this one out himself as the Sault College Cougars are down to 10 men, at least temporarily. This is DiBertolo, who has squared the ball, and who else to cut it out but Brett Davey. And that is a good ball in behind and a good bit of skill from the Humber Hawks, Babawale. Wonderful now 1- and 2-touch football from the Humber Hawks. Fantastic counter press for DiBertolo, and they've gotten their 11th.
Good finish.
Fantastic from DiBertolo, who now at this point in time, with 15 minutes remaining in the game, Neil, have topped the group and will finish first.
Yep, so that'd be interesting if they make some changes or just keep going. And I see Sault College have made a change.
They have done for the injured Janelle Moody. It's now Hernando Martinez who comes into the match. Number 14, as we mentioned in the first half, will move back up to striker as he previously was. And hopefully the young lad who got the ball in not the most brightest area will be recovered in no time. And some positive play here from the Cougars. Can they produce something? And it's Bosco still in possession. That's a good turn. And the referee was having none of it. It was never going to be a penalty, despite the fact that the referee did have some looks and some shouts. And Neil, we spoke about the big forward, Matthew McGruther, who had a fantastic first half, but now it's Babawale who is departing. So a like-for-like sub in terms of ability.
Mm-hmm.
How much of a luxury is that for a coach?
Oh, yeah. It's not going to affect anything they're doing. He's going to throw them up. And they'll just carry on doing what they're doing. And again, it's what we talked about, competition in places. This lad's going to come on now and possibly motivated to outscore or put in a better, 15 minutes where he's going to be the first choice for the next game. And it all comes down to competition for places.
Without question, as Brett Davey cuts out yet another attack. Sault College's shining performer on this day and for this season is Brett Davey, as that's a lovely ball put into the area. It's McGruther, who on his first touch almost had himself another goal in this game. First touch of the second half, I should say. Number 24, Gasparotto, who now plays into Leal. It's Gale. Gale with nothing but time. Gale, a lovely ball in. And who else to clear it but Brett Davey? It's another corner for the Humber Hawks. Brett Davey, most recently a part of last week's SFC Fall Tournament champions here in Sault Ste. Marie. Congratulations to Brett and Sports Center FC for winning. Sault College coaches Brandon Sims and Drew Johnson as well, a part of that championship team. And it's the Hawks finding themselves in the final third where they spent so much of this game. That's a lovely weighted pass. And the finish on the end of it not great from Delgado. The ambition of the Humber Hawks, Neil, I think this season once again will be to win themselves another provincial championship and look towards a national championship again. The standard of this program, Neil, is so high, and we've seen it in the likes of York at the OUA level. Mm-hmm. How long do you think, at least in your opinion, does it take to build a program like this?
Dan, it's as we know from the university level, we've been going 10 years, and we know we're nowhere near that type of program yet. And that's what people seem to forget. These programs that have been going for 20 odd years, probably more, where they do have advantage is their geographical location. It's harder to get people up to the north and things like that. But the fact that we're 10 years in and we're still calling ourselves a young program, maybe that narrative needs to change a little bit now. And we need to, accept that it's time for the programs up here in the Soo to try and push on a little bit. But it's tough work. It's tough work, and especially as you walk into York, it's the feel about it, everything about it. Everything they got, their facilities, everything about their program is built, and national titles are demanded. And it's that culture that we're trying to create. I don't think it's unachievable. Just because we're in Sault Ste. Marie, I really don't think it's unachievable. It's just we got to do things a little bit differently.
And Sault College, I'm certain, will feel the same way, that it's not unachievable. And we take a look at some of the programs, the likes of Humber, and if we even look at the OUA ranks, York, U of T, Ryerson, these sorts of teams who have been around for 60, 70, in some cases more years than that. And obviously, at this point, with Algoma University and Sault College being under 10 years involved in competitive programs, it is still in the early stages, but perhaps, as you suggested, Neil, a change in narrative will need to take place if both groups are able to move forward.
And it's also something that we could do as a working partnership, right? Like recruitment and things like that is, you know, to help each other, to communicate with each other, and just try to work as two programs that are striving to help each other.
Absolutely. And again, regardless of where you are, if you've got two competitive programs in your area, it's always a positive thing. And speaking of positive, it's another positive pass forward from the Humber Hawks, and a lovely ball into the area, this time cut out by number 11, Baquero Morales. It will be another Humber Hawks corner kick. There are 10 minutes remaining in this game. Humber Hawks have clinched the division as long as the score line stays as it is at 11-0. They will have won the division, and I'm assuming another goal or two will certainly see it out, but the Humber Hawks will look to, of course, not to concede and just see this one out to top the group. And as we mentioned earlier, Neil, about having those extra days, having that bye where they won't have to play that added game, a few extra days to rest, recover, look at film, be at the training ground, also important.
Absolutely, and even this now with 10 minutes left for Humber here, a good practice here of keeping possession and just seeing this game out, just managing the game, seeing it out.
Without doubt. Certainly the Humber Hawks men and women's team will have been happy with their performances on this road trip this Thanksgiving weekend here, having to travel roughly 8 hours to Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario from Toronto. We do wish both teams a safe journey home. As a free kick is now awarded to Sault College, it will be Brett Davey to take. Sault College trying to play their way out of a tight area. And Di Bertolo has won the ball. The ball's been played in behind. A 1v1 opportunity. And a penalty.
What's your thoughts on that one, Dan?
That one was probably
not as clear cut as the other one.
No, I would say that the first one, which was waved off, was more of a penalty than that. But at the end of the day, Sault College did get caught in possession. The ball was played in behind, and there was some level of contact anyways. And
for me, it looked like he got the ball mixed up in his feet and fell over the ball more than the contact.
That's right.
It was very slight contact from behind, like as in arm in the back, but it wasn't. I don't think enough. Yeah, it looked like he tripped over the ball for me.
Regardless of opinion, it is a penalty, and it's 12-0. No real mistake on the penalty from Memi. It's probably always going to be a goal. And you almost wonder in that sort of situation, too, if it is in fact a penalty, Neil, as, to your point, which I think has a lot of credibility. You wonder if that's the last, or second last offender, rather, shouldn't there have been a booking?
Yes.
like, you know, it's something that we should consider.
You referees, Dan, eh? You referees.
Can't do anything with us, can't do anything without us. And that's a careless giveaway in possession, one of the rare things that we've seen from the Humber Hawks today. Been so tidy in possession, so careful and considerate and precise with the ball. That's a lovely bit of skill from Sault College, who almost found themselves out of a very difficult situation. And the ball's been won, but not without a foul. And now things are getting quite interesting here. The referee's going to have to go to his book. And the color is yellow for the Sault College player. And you'd hate to see anything in these last 5 minutes here get out of hand. as Brett Davey will stand on the free kick for the original foul. The Sault College player was booked for the retaliation afterwards. So a pass there that was attempted to be played, and it was dispossessed by Delgado, only to have that reciprocated by the Sault College defending player Baquero Morales. In these final 5 minutes here, at 12-0, not much to be said from either side. Humber has topped the group, as we've mentioned, with their goal difference. And Sault College trying to see the game out. This is Delgado. The ball is squared and nobody to meet it at the back post. The finger to be pointed at Magoto for the Humber Hawks. A lack of control there from Mitchell Myers sees the Humber Hawks regain possession effortlessly. This is Delgado, who has dinked the ball over the top, and the ambition from Escobar to hit it first time goes wide. Effortless stuff from the Humber Hawks. For those listening, this is the last game of the OCAA men's soccer season. SiouxSports.com, Sioux Sports Radio, and Sioux Sports TV will be back here at Superior Heights this upcoming weekend for OUA action, women's and men's, here at Superior Heights, 12 o'clock Saturday and Sunday, as well as 2:30 for the men's Saturday and Sunday, where the Algoma University Thunderbirds will take on the Ryerson Rams here at Superior Heights in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. As we speak about the upcoming fixtures here at Superior Heights, the game is now 13-0 as the Humber Hawks' Matthew McGruther has turned in yet another goal for the Humber Hawks, bringing this game, as we just mentioned, to 13-0. At this sort of scoreline, Neil, is there any sort of team talk that a coach can give to a team after a game after suffering such a defeat like this?
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. You've been totally outplayed. I think the first thing to do is to sort of like, as a coach, understand the levels of your team, right? You're up against one of the powerhouses, and sometimes it just is what it is, right? The season's done. It's over. For me, you know what? I would put this one, just put it away, lock it away, done, move on, focus on next year.
And that was Sault College's first shot on target for the game. It took them 89 minutes, but they did get there in the end. And what they've also got is a corner kick.
Is this the first one of the game?
Yes, I believe so. And what's also happening here is another yellow card. You know, typically in a game like this, Neil, at least from a referee's point of view, when you have this kind of scoreline anyways, the referee usually isn't too busy apart from writing down the people who've scored. But there have been quite a few cards shown in this game, hasn't there?
Yeah, and I think that went to a Humber player. Why are you even getting into a situation when you're 13-0 up? That's going to potentially get you a card. Senseless.
Fully agreed. And the danger has been cleared, at least for now. Ball back into the box, but no Sault College player there to make any real attempt on the ball. And it's a Humber Hawks throw-in. As we approach full time, we've been given no indication as to how much added time there will be, if any at all. So we can expect these final moments to, in fact, be just that, the final moments of the match and of the OCAA regular season, as the Humber Hawks are once again on the attack. And it will be a Humber Hawks throw-in after a little bit of confusion, beg my pardon, between the linesman and the referee.
Nothing new there.
And that is the full-time
it.
whistle. There is no added time, as there need not be. It's the Humber Hawks who win this one on the road this Thanksgiving weekend, 13-0 against the hosting Sault College Cougars. They will top the group. They will go into a first-round playoff bye. And that really wraps it up for us here.
Humber 13, Sault College no score. Ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude the 2021 OCAA regular season.
So as you've just heard over the intercom, that does conclude the OCAA regular season, men's and women's. Fantastic to have OCAA soccer back here in Sault Ste. Marie and just having it back in the province in general. Playoffs will start this week. You can catch all of that live on OCAA.ca. And until next season, Neil, we will not be back until the fall. So for Neil Ovey and Daniel Scarpino, on behalf of SiouxSports.com, Sioux Sports TV, and Sioux Sports Radio, we want to wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving, and we will see you all next season. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.